Hi. So I'm going to paint this scene from a photograph, obviously, and I'm going to paint it with a palette knife. The palette knife I'm going to use is this one. It's a 2120 De Laroni palette knife. It's kind of nice and springy. And I'm going to do the usual thing, which is make a wash and do a drawing with a brush. Okay, so let's get some solvent. As usual, a kind of mix that's the consistency of milk. And get it all over the canvas. In this case, I'm using a sheet of A4 paper, which is canvas textured and prepared for oils. In that it has some kind of gesso or surface that doesn't let the solvent and the oil come through, but it does grip the paint. Okay, so there's a wash. I might tamp that down a little bit so it's not too wet. And to do a drawing, I'm just going to use a stronger mix of the burnt sienna. Okay, so the line of the lake, something like there. Okay, and that means those mountains rise above there. Okay, come around here and then rise up again towards the edge, the right-hand edge of the canvas. There's a little map there. Let's put in this reed bed along there, and it has a dark part there. And I might bring that out a little bit further. And there's this rough patch of boggy grassland here. There's a patch of finer grass here. Looks like a lawn or something. And now let's put in the building. It's a bit of a ruin. Come down there like that. Then we've got this dark extending off there. Now see the way the tree meets the line of the mountain as it meets the sky there, and it meets at the same level. So I don't like that, so I'm going to push that up into the sky. Okay. And then we've got another tree pushing up into the sky over here. Tree trunk coming down there. Some darks, vegetation here, along. Up there. We've got that dark there. And we have a dark, it's dark on this edge of the reeds. And then there's a bit of land here coming down. Now we're not going to get into too much detail here because we want this to be slightly vague, I suppose. You won't be able to get into detail anyway because the knife painting just won't allow it. Push that tree up into the skyline there, coming there like that, and then there's kind of a shadow there, a shadow there. Okay, and there's some light playing on the edge of the hill over there. Okay, we'll take care of that later. So that's our drawing. Okay, so let's begin the painting with the knife. And I think I'm going to start out with some darks. So some blue and some burnt sienna. Let's make some more of that. It just gives us an idea where everything is here. Gives an anchor points in the painting. Darks along here. This tree coming up into the skyline there. The dark. Along there, that's good. Okay, and then there's the dark at the side of this reed bed. Okay, so I'm going to wipe the knife down and move on. I think I'll move on to the grassland in front. Okay, so grass, generally speaking, green. So I'm going to mix up a blue. You need plenty of paint when you're knife painting. Yellow. And that gives you a very sort of cool, almost toxic green. To make it more natural, add a bit of red into it. Okay, and then needs a bit more yellow there. Okay, and I think I need even more red. Do this incrementally. Okay, and more yellow. We'll be using a lot of yellow in this painting. Okay. So let's put in this first. I'm using the flat of the blade here. I'm just scraping the paint down a little bit. This is the same blocking in process that you do for any painting. And also here, the top of the reeds. Okay, now I'm going to add in a little bit more red and yellow for the boggy area. So you've got quite a bit of paint there. And I'm going to, using the flat of the blade again, because at the moment we're just covering an area. And here too. And it kind of goes up into that area there. We'll take care of that later. We might bring that dark down a little bit as well. Okay. Okay, so that's that done. Now, I'm going to move on to the sky. There's a reason for doing the sky first. Let's get some titanium white, and some blue. That'll make a nice blue sky, because the parts of the sky are nice and clear and blue. Mix that up. Don't over mix it. You don't want it to be too perfect. And let's put nice, drag that paint along there, like there. Coming over to this side too. And you notice that I'm leaving areas unpainted, and that is just so that I can add a pink, a different colour, because those clouds can be expressed as pink rather than white clouds. You don't paint clouds white, they're always colours. And so let's make this pink. See, I've kept these areas clear, just like you would in any painting. If there are areas you're going to treat differently, you keep them unpainted until you put in the colour that you want. So white plus red plus yellow. Make sure I have enough. A bit pinker than that. Just a touch more yellow. Okay, so a nice warm pinky orange there. And let's put that in. It's much like the wash that was in there, but it will be different by the end. So just keeping as much as I can away from the blue areas at the moment. Okay, so we've got kind of representation of the clouds. So let's move on to the mountains. Okay, so the mountains are kind of covered in green. So I'm going to take a little bit of the green, I'm going to add a bit of blue and the sky colour into them, because there's a lot of air between us and those mountains. And I want to put even more distance between us and those mountains, because I want the attention to be focused on the foreground. I'll put a bit of red in there. A bit more blue and a bit more white. Send those off into the distance. Okay, a bit of blue. Faraway hills are green. Okay, so let's add in these now, using the flat of the blade. You can't get into details, this is the thing. And up here we've got some hills rising up. Okay. Now, let's do that ruin of a house. I think it would be good if it was slightly red in the lit areas on the right hand side. Kind of an orangey. Just put a little bit of blue so it's not too bright. So this is very dark pink. Okay, and I'm going to put that in. There. And then there's the area in shadow here. Add some blue, a little bit of red, touch of white. Okay, get a kind of a purpley, violet-y colour. And just put in a bit of it there. And now put in the shadows. move on. The sea. Wipe my knife down with my rag. And the sea is a reflection of the sky. So I'm going to grab some of my cloudy colour, put it in, and some of my sky, the blue sky, and put that in too. Go in there, like that there. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the sea in there. Okay. And what shall I do now? That, in fact, is the... oh no, I'm missing one bit. Let's have a look. There is a line of reasonably far away, but not that far away, land in front of that mountain on the left. So I'm going to grab some of my very far away hills, mix, and add it into the natural green. And let's put that in there. Just a line, a greyish line coming across here. Okay, so now the blocking in is done. So let's start working on, I think, the light grass area in the front. Just the same as in any other painting, you bounce around in the painting, bringing everything forward at the same time. So put those there. Just don't be completist about this. So you can. It's nice when you have little bits of areas where the paint underneath is showing through. That's good. Let's add some yellow to that and some more red. Into there. Okay, mix that up a little bit there. So, and now we can start putting in not details, but sort of variance in this grass, because it's very boggy, random, amorphous mass of grass, tussocks and rough, if you're a golfing person. So I'm going to put those along here like that, along here too. There's a bit of variation in there. Now I'm going to fix up the top of the reeds. There. And now I'm going to fix up the shadow of the reeds. So it's add a little bit of ivory black to that, then a bit of blue as well, and a bit more red into that. Make a nice dark green. A little bit more ivory black. Okay, and now let's the thing is about this is that you want texture. You don't want to flatten everything down. You don't want to make the details too tiny and finicky. This is about sort of I suppose this is about texture, really. That's the thing. So now I'm working on the trees and those bushes. The darks there with those bushes. There's a lot of paint going on here. Okay, and then the last tree coming up here. Oh, it's this one too. You're not going to get down into details. And let's mix up a little bit more. I could have mixed up a bit more, couldn't I? Silly me, you're better off mixing more than you are of trying to save paint or something like that. So let me put some more colours into this. Okay, here we go. There's a dark, must be a window, I suppose. I'm not going to dwell on it. And now let's shape the side of that ruin. Bring the vegetation down to shape it a little as well. You need plenty of paint for the painting to flow. There we go, there, like that. Now I'm going to wipe my brush. I'm going to wipe down the knife. Oh, forgot that one there, didn't I? It'd be nice to have that there. And it'd be nice to have that trunk a bit more distinct there. Okay. So now there are some sort of orangey areas in the distance, slightly green, but there's lots of yellow and red in it. Okay, far away. Let's darken it somewhat. Let's see how that works. So, very far away. I think they could go lighter than that. Okay, let's see how that works. Sunlight is hitting areas of the mountain which are presenting themselves towards the light. Okay, and on the other side, there's more golden. There's more golden hue. Okay, let's put that in there. Not going to be too precise. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do more with the sky. More with those pinks. And I need a touch of yellow. More yellow for this. What do you think? Okay, so yellow, white, red for pink. More white. I'm going to lighten it. Okay, so now we've got a bit of variation in that. A bit lighten it again. Okay, in the clouds. Make sure you get some of that texture. Don't flatten everything. And come into the blue a little bit now. Maybe put some up there. And shape this hill a little bit as well. Just give the idea that there are clouds there. Okay, we've got some of that there. Now let's try a little bit of variation in the blue of the sky. Make up another blue-white mix. We'll make it slightly darker. Okay, and we can put that up at the top. Where did that come from? Yeah, a nice dramatic Irish sky. Okay, so now let's come forward and do the grass again. So we're going to add more yellow and more red into that area at the front. Bring it up into those reeds a little bit. Random dabs into the paint that's already there. Allow yourself to get some texture in there. Now it'll take a long time to dry. It'll be months. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit of that colour, take it to the side, and put in a little bit of white. A bit more yellow. Here we go. Put in patches of this. Careful not to over mix the paint as it goes onto the paint underneath. And here. Yeah. Now let's get some fierce reds and put them in. Red and yellow mixed with a touch of that grass mix into it. It'll give the painting a much more dynamic and interesting look. Sometimes you can just sort of tap the blade onto the surface, and the surface will actually pick the paint up off the underside of the blade. You can even have a little bit in that area there. Okay, I want to just adjust the mountains a little bit. You so they meet that grey underneath. Okay. Now, grab some of that nice bright green up there and shape these reeds because they come up slightly up there. And I don't want a too smooth a kind of transition between, or I would say sort of where the two tones meet here. Wouldn't be too clear. We want to make it more natural than that, and also bring this into what's below. Make it seem more natural. And put a bit of dark there. There. Now get some of my sky. My sky, and make something of the sky behind the tree, behind all the vegetation there. Of course, we can see some of the mountain here. Put that in, trying not to disturb the paint. More mountain there. More dark. Use the edge of the blade just to sort of show that there are branches. Now let's put some lighter green on the right hand side of the trees where the light is coming from. There. And in this area here. Okay. And let me just get my sky colour, which is in fact the sea colour too. And finish that area there. Okay, I'm just going to lighten up that, we're coming towards the end now, lighten up this area here a little bit more. Some of the sea here. Now get some more red. Put some yellow into it. Add some more touches of red. I might just lighten up the house just a little bit. Make it slightly lighter, paler pink, as if the stones are reflecting the evening sun. Lighter. And just put some shape on these bits of vegetation here. And one more thing, I think I might just add something to the clouds, just lighter. Adding more white to that warm cloud colour, but not making it completely white. Okay, so I'm going to add some random shapes, just using the flat of the blade. And that is it. And now I'm going to take off the masking tape. Just bear with me. Pull it off carefully. I don't want to rip off the surface of the paper. Or indeed get paint all over the equipment.